can't really prepare yourself for being 3 months after I proposed to the love of my life, diagnosed with cancer, and having to go through 2 months prior her being diagnosed with endometriosis. So it kind of came as a back-to-back slap in the face, wake up to reality of, this isn't going to be a walk in the park engagement like everybody else seems to make it out to be, or the Hallmark movie that everybody watches. But it was a really big wake-up call and woke us up really quick.
So he proposed in November, and it was in January. I had tests done, like, colonoscopies and different things like that. They ended up going in just to see if I had endometriosis, and I found out it was stage 3, which there's 4 stages. And the 3rd stage, they just stage you based off of how much there is and where it goes, like tissue. So he staged it 3, but thankfully there was no cancer in that.
I go in 3 months after I propose to the love of my life, and after I've been by her side through her trial, which I thought was pretty bad. I go in for a general checkup, and 3 days later I was under the knife in surgery, and I was one of the fortunate ones, stage 1 testicular cancer. Going in the reverse in the roles of that, of me being there for her and then me not being able to, and then her being there for me. God used mighty ways to shape our relationship. Overwhelming to see how God can use really the bad news as kind of good news. That he uses the bad things that we think are catastrophic in our minds to bring us closer together in the end and bring each of us closer to him. And then all this kind of shifts our focus off of that, off of ourselves, and more onto realizing that it's not really as much about the wedding or as much about us, but about what he's doing in and through us. It's kind of a scandalous message of the gospel that it isn't anything we do. But thank God that it isn't anything I do, because I would have wrecked it in the first place. But that he would care enough to come into my life and rip the spotlight off of me and show me that it's not all about me, that it's all about him, and to graciously do so through trials, that the world will say, how dare you even call that something that joy can come from? If it's only trials that you're going to get that from, then I think that's why Paul says, count it all joy, my brothers. And so it's hard in the midst. And I think that's what our message is, in the midst. In the midst of the pain. Whether that pain is just fleeting for a moment or lifelong, it's hard to see through the fog. Only then that I find the courage and the grace and the patience to be able to wait and wait without worry. And that's something that I'm free to be joyful in the midst of tragedy, and in the midst of hardship, in the midst of suffering, that I'm strangely thankful for.
So, 10 days from today, we're getting married, and that is the highlight. Something that we've been able to look forward to, but it's been hard, planning everything. We haven't really focused as much on it, but now that it's getting closer, the excitement is starting to take place, like people are gifting and, things that we're all excited about are starting to come, and we can see it, and we haven't been able to see it yet, So I guess the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, and we've talked about this, we're both looking forward to, is of course, having fun and the reception and everything, but the ceremony itself, bowing to each other, before God, and actually being husband and wife, so that we can go through things like this together, as one. And then the other side of it is having everyone from, Summit and our families and our friends who have walked through our, whole story with us to be in one place and to just celebrate and to focus on what God's done and is doing and will do, and not just the sad part, because he's taken all of that and he's redeemed it, and it blows my mind. It blows our minds.
When I first see her walk down the aisle, I can't predict accurately, but I will probably be thinking of how beautiful not only on the outside she is, but on the inside, and a lot of memories will flood back through my mind. And that I'll be able to see a lot more than everybody else that's there. And that is indeed a great blessing and honor that only I will cherish that.